It's a Geekhouse Dark Mode Christmas tree. And now, it's time to finish this darn project, because I want more purple to mix in with the blue.
The wacky world of MultimediaJay.
So up to this point, the Geekhouse Dark Mode has focused on blue lights, but as we see from this old background from Kubuntu a couple of years ago, a blue into purple thing is an interesting gradient to shoot for. Now, recently, I've been attaining this via the plant light that's going over by the project area. But that can't be the only purple light because some cameras pick it up better than others. Also, it disrupts the light cycle of any plants that I happen to be growing. So what I need to do is I need to find a way to go for this kind of an effect without relying on the plant light in order to get there. And I have some stuff that's been sitting new in the box for quite some time that should come in handy for something like this. So there's the extent of the purple that shows up on this camera. The webcam picks it up a heck of a lot better for streaming. And that's something I gotta figure out, because the streaming setup is actually pulling ahead of the video setup in terms of how good it is. Alright, let's get some non-lighting, or non-goofball lighting going again. So we got a couple of things we're gonna try out here. There's a couple of things I want to experiment with for the purple side of it. Also, I'm looking for something called a light floor, so that there's always a minimum amount of light lighting me up while streaming, and that I'm not as dependent upon the television for light. But that's going to be really tricky to do, because I really hate glary lights out of the corner of my eye. I did not grow up in a theater group or anything like that where you're dealing with stage lights all the time, so yeah, might be a little difficult here. So the first thing to address is how to add the purple that we're looking for. We have another light strip that we can try out, but I also have another smart bulb that I can use in this extra desk lamp. Because of all of the stuff with LEDs built in, this desk lamp has been rendered kind of redundant, unless I want to use it for some other type of lighting project. So having a smart bulb and having this thing turn on and off according to the Wi-Fi and everything would be one easy way to get some purple into the mix, without having to depend on the plant light all the time. The question is how to position it so the effect is most noticeable. Okay, so this is the part where the laws of physics start to mess with me. What's one of the key differences between the various colors of light? The wavelength. That determines how certain colors of light can spread around a room. So blue and purple should actually have an easier time getting from point A to point B than something like red. So yeah, I can set this to purple with a desk lamp, but it seems to put too much purple in one spot. It's enough to get it to show up on camera, but once we start heading back over towards the screens, everything goes full Smurf once again. Let's see what this looks like with the streaming setup.
Yeah, I thought so. Doesn't quite work quite the way I want. So first you have that big pink thing in the background, which I'm not looking for. And furthermore, the purple is actually going way too high and turning pink because it mixes with the blue. Not exactly the Kubuntu Linux effect that I'm working for. And I don't think changing it to violet will help things much either. Set the purple light to violet.
Got it. Changing purple light to violet.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
So this is more in line with what it is that I'm looking for, but you can still see bits and pieces of the purple still going a little too high. Plus, I don't want some bright pink thing off in the background of all the streams. It should be blue on the top with blue lights, and then have some purple creeping up from the bottom. Just like the Kubuntu background from years or however long ago it was. Back to the drawing board.
Okay, this is the part where we're trying to replicate the plant light, so to speak, which is turned off right now, by just having the desk lamp firing at the wall, kind of like the plant light usually does when it's on. It does add a little bit of purple to the wall, but the camera can't see it, but I can. So, not quite as much purple as I'm looking for. I can see it with my eye, but the camera's not seeing it at all. So, let's see if the other camera can pick it up.
Once again, I just don't understand why this little Nexigo webcam is better at handling the low light as a 60 FPS cam running in 30 FPS mode than the camcorder is. They're both 60 FPS cameras running at 30 FPS. So, on this camera, it's turning my entire wall pink, which is not what I'm looking for. So I don't know. I don't know if this is really going to work the way I want it to. Either way, let's see here. Set purple light to violet.
Got it. Changing purple light to violet.
Thank you.
Got it.
So, if I get out of the way here, we can see a little bit of, so we can see somewhat of the effect I'm looking for with the purple light, if we set it to violet. There's one major problem with that, though. Turn on the plant light.
Alright, turning on the plant light.
Thank you.
Happy to help.
The plant bulb is way more effective at this role. So I have gotten absolutely nowhere when it comes to getting this working, right? You know what? As crazy as it sounds, let's actually put the plant bulb inside that desk lamp and see if I get the same better result. That would be sad if a plant bulb can actually do this purple light better than the actual purple light can. And by the way, just for the original effect that we're looking for, turn off the purple light.
Alright, turning purple light off.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
This is perfect. So basically the plant light, with its positioning and its being a floodlight and everything, is better at this sort of thing than the light that I'm setting up to do this as a dedicated light. Let's try this again. Yikes! The plant light firing on the side of the wall from that desk lamp is turning everything purple. Like, it's like I'm not even going for a blue effect at all. I'll bet it's even more pronounced with the Nexigo camera. I mean, I can see with my eye, the camera can see all the purple. I'll bet the Nexigo, it's like the Barney the Dinosaur color scheme for streaming.
Today, we're gonna show you how to make lights for streaming! Won't that be so fun?
Right. Pink. Oh man, this is so terrible. I just turned the whole place pink. No, not the effect I'm going for at all. But what this does tell me, you can see, so instead of blue going into purple, I have pink going into blue. No, this is not what I'm looking for at all. But here's something to think about, though. What I have going on here, this is so bad. So here's the thing. What I'm looking for is essentially a light floor. Kind of like a noise floor has a minimum amount of noise. This light floor that I'm looking for means there's a minimum amount of light no matter what. So when the plant light is off, if I'm streaming during what's supposed to be the night cycle for the plants, there's still the blue into purple effect and this whole place doesn't get smurfed. So that gives me an idea for what to push for next. Alright, put the plant light back where we got it, and put the purple light back in that desk lamp. I'm guessing we probably have to go LED strip for this. What have I gotten myself into? The more I fiddle with this setup, the more I have to dread that I might be right. And the best way to get this working is to run a light strip along the trim on the bottom of the wall. Which is what it's gonna be. You have to pull everything out and run the darn stuff, and then hook it all up, and then, yeah, make it easy to reset if we gotta reset it. So here we are. We've got a little bit of purple. Got a little bit of purple going into the blue. This is the effect I'm looking for, but it's only in one spot. It's there, but it doesn't continue over closer to everything else. So let's see what this looks like on camera. I'll bet any money the pink goes all the way up the wall, because that Nexigo camera is just so darn sensitive. Do I know my stuff, or do I know my stuff? Told ya, not the effect I'm looking for. So it somewhat works on the video camera. It doesn't work very well on the streaming camera. So it looks like, unfortunately, I'm going to have to take that light and just have it be another blue light somewhere else to fill in an area that's kind of dark or something like that. Maybe right over here, I don't know. So it looks like that desk lamp needs to be yet another side light doing blue light and stuff like that. And we need to install an LED strip to do the purple along the bottom in just the right amount that I'm looking for. I was not looking forward to this. We're gonna have to pull everything out and run the strip along the trim. Maybe get some double-sided tape. Unlike the last one that I tried doing this with, though, it's a lot smaller, so it's probably the sort of thing where it'd be pretty easy to position versus the monster one that was practically like a flat extension cord. It was just too thick. Well, let's set this up now, shall we?
I'll tell you, LED strips are so annoying to work with. You practically have to test run them before you even buy them, which is impossible. You gotta run them to see what the light's gonna look like in advance. But yeah, so it's basically trial and error with these darn things. So I've got one on the trim with purple light, like I thought it would. Haven't used the adhesive yet, because I want to see what it looks like. And I'm glad I did, because my eye can see purple going a little ways up the wall, but I don't think the camera's picking up any of it. Far from the effect that I'm looking for. Let's try dragging it forward, because when we start getting back towards the computer and everything, there is no purple that's visible except for a trace. I'll bet any money, though, it shows up in the webcam as usual, because the webcam is just so much better at handling this light than what should be a technologically superior camcorder.
Oh yeah, this is a total wild card. It's not the effect I'm looking for at all. Yikes. Some of the purple is actually popping up at the ceiling, and it's not showing up down below. I'm guessing if I were to drag that strip light a little further out so it's not mostly behind the keyboard, it would probably spit a lot more purple up the side of the wall. I am not looking forward to this.
Yeah, this whole idea is useless. I mean, with the naked eye, I can see the purple going up to about halfway to the ceiling, but the camera doesn't pick it up anywhere near as much. Just like what was happening before. And I'll bet there's more purple being splashed on the walls when we get to the, when we start looking at the webcam. It's just crazy, you know, just the differences between the optical sensors between the two cameras as well as the human eye, what they can see. But I really think that I'm just putting too much work into trying to get this blue-purple gradient for too little results. With one of these, I'm probably better off pulling a Harris Heller and putting it up the far side of one of these torch lamps, so I have a string of light going up but firing backwards. What I could theoretically do with that is maybe use it to light me when I'm streaming, but as it stands, it looks like the blue and the purple just isn't going to be a thing with this. I have no good place to put this darn strip without it either sending purple too far, or we got to use adhesive, so we don't want to do anything to the paint of this place. So, yeah, the blue and the purple, it looks like we're just going to have to wing it, continue winging it, I should say, with maybe the plant bulb or something like that, or set something up that's just as bright as the plant bulb, but in a similar place, and so it has a similar effect. I don't know, but whatever I'm thinking of with this blue and the purple thing, the LED strip light is just not going to make it happen.
Yeah, thought so. Can't really see any purple except in the wrong place. So, minus the plant light, I'm actually not getting the gradient I'm looking for. So, it's unfortunate, but it looks like that LED strip is pretty much a waste of money. Gotta find a better spot for it, maybe to darken up some other place that isn't quite blue enough yet. Probably add it to, maybe put it around the back of the keyboard or something to light things up even more. Like, I don't have enough blue lights as it is. There is some purple that's making it onto the ceiling, but that's not the gradient effect that I'm looking for. Why don't we play with some stuff while we're recording like this, since this webcam is actually giving me the best results here. Set side light 2 to purple.
Okay, changing side light 2 to purple.
Thank you.
Happy to help.
This is more the kind of color scheme that we'd see in a Harris Heller video or something, except purple mixed with blue kind of turns it pink. So, not so sure I want to go for that. Plus, it's more vertical and stuff along those lines. So, let's see here. Turn on the plant light.
Got it. Turning on the plant light.
Thank you.
Happy to help.
And so, the plant light, the little plant bulb that's firing on some plants, little floodlight, is actually doing a better job of turning things purple than that LED strip is. Set side light 2 to blue.
Sure. Changing side light 2 to blue.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
So, okay, well, we'll find some use for that LED strip. I never peeled off the adhesive, so the adhesive is still good. When we find something to stick that thing to, we'll figure it out. Runs off of 5 volts anyway, so could always set something up for the project area or lighten up a part of the room that's a little darker than it should be. Or better yet, run it up the lamp that's that way in order to light me up with barely any light, because I'm running into a lot of problems with the precision of the light that is available on these things. So maybe running that strip up the torch lamp that's that way could be useful for lighting me with some 3-point lighting or something like that without too much light pollution ruining all the colors. Alright, let's get that thing out of there and let's move on to part 2 of the experiment, which is the light floor for when it's dark when I'm streaming, and it has nothing to do with the video setup whatsoever.
So with the 2020 stay home, work remotely thing and whatnot, podcasting equipment became all the rage. It was being sold all over the place, including in more mainstream retail stores and stuff like that. So one of the interesting things about the maturity of LED technology is disposable lights like these that can be set to different colors and brightnesses. So you have a zoomy color bar here, and we also have this little ring light thing that I saw at Walmart. It's not a real ring light, but it's the sort of thing where I'm trying to set up some kind of light floor so I'm always lit somewhat with the side of my face, with no matter what's on the screen or how bright or dark everything is. So the Zoomy unfortunately suffers from a coldness issue. The white on here is actually cold white. You can also go blue, you can go green, you can go red. The white is actually cold, and I can increase the brightness if I really wanted to. But the big issue is I don't want this to be some kind of glare that is off to the side. So if I turn this all the way down, the minimum amount of lighting I can get is this, and it starts flashing at me when it's all the way down. The other issue is this turns on automatically if I run it off the computer's USB, so I want something with a hard switch that I can turn on and off when it's podcast time, or something I can put on a smart plug and, you know, have the light turn on whenever I go to Geekhouse dark mode. Now for this thing, it has multiple colors and everything, but it also has multiple brightnesses of warm white. So you can turn it red. You can see where the LEDs are in the camera. You cannot see those with the naked eye. You have a green, you have a blue. It's just going into rainbow mode. So it's kind of demoing what kind of colors it can do. So it's red, green, blue, and some oranges and some other in-between colors. And then you have cold white, which I'm not looking for. I'm looking for warm white, which is this. And this is available at several different brightnesses. So let's try these, and whatever you set the thing to, it has a delay switch to turn it on and off. So you can just do this and use it as a studio light. Oh, wait a minute. No. Delay to turn it off, not to turn it on. Okay. So let's set it up and try using it as a light floor to see if it'll light me properly without being such a glare that's off to the side.
So despite this project's failures, it's pretty important to talk about where we came from with all of this. So I have the TV's brightness turned all the way down because I learned as I started streaming that it's actually pretty good to crank the TV's backlight as a way to light me up. The problem is, what light it lights me with depends on the color of what it is that I'm watching, and it really cranks the power consumption on the television, as well as the heat generation, which is not such a good thing in the summertime. But here's where I started with gaming mode, with a couple of smart bulbs and the plant light adding some purple in the background. And just thanks to placing a few other lights somewhere else, we have what you folks can see in my streams today. Switch to Geekhouse dark mode. And here's everything. Now I'm just silhouetted by all the blue. Thank you.
My pleasure.
So, all issues with the Google speakers being slow aside, the last thing we need is some kind of light floor. So, a way of being lit. So, right now, of course, the issue is I can always crank the TV up to 10 on the backlight to light up this way. But then the colors of what's on the screen determine whether I look like a person or whether I get smurfed. It does look kind of like I'm watching TV late at night. I could always, switch to a background that is a little bit warmer and stuff along those lines. but I actually have a couple of lights that run straight off of USB 5 volts. Now here's what we have today. Really nice setup with some of the extra lights, even though that LED strip didn't work out. We could probably put the LED strip somewhere to add some more light to this setup. Maybe perhaps in this area or something, or lighting up behind the keyboard or something. Or we could, you know, change the setup so it looks better, because we're not using things like bed sheets for covers or anything like the old Geekhouse 5S thing was for Geekhouse Light Mode. But yeah, Geekhouse Dark Mode should definitely be here to stay, and I should be looking to make this place as blue and somewhat purple as possible. It's just the purple side of it is proving to be quite a challenge. I might have better luck with desk lamps and more bulbs instead of messing with LED strips. Alright, let's get some of these little 5-volt lights ready to go. They're over at the project area, actually, and I'm going to preview some of them as well as what they can do. And actually, I should probably take this remote control for the zoomy light while I'm at it. Now we got to take a look at the light floor. So maybe I can stay lit without having to crank the backlight on the television all the way up and consume all this extra power just to have my face get lit up. Let's do some playing around. Okay, so it's sink or swim time for the setup. You can actually see it reflecting in the glasses, actually. So I have this thing on warm light all the way down. It's not really doing much of anything. So let's see here. That's red. Da-da-da-da. Let's put it back to warm white, turning it all the way up. Da-da-da-da-da. Purple, pink, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so here's warm white all the way up, and it's too bright. You can see the light pollution is actually, number one, it's turning me orange, and it's killing the lights in the background, so therefore there's light pollution effects that are causing problems. And now we take this down a notch. We get some of the blue back, but there's still some light pollution, and I'm still being turned orange. And now we're back down to the bottom level, and there's no point in me having actually used this. So the lack of control for this light is actually a lot of the reason why it's probably a good idea to just send the LED light strip up the side of the lamp that's over that way in order to get lit properly. Is this thing does cold white, right? Green, blue, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, this is blue. This is cold. This is the blue to cold light stuff, and it kind of monochromes me, so not what I'm looking for. So, yeah, I mean, it's a light. I mean, I can use it anywhere. I can use a battery box even to keep this thing around, like during a power outage or something. But with this kind of lighting specifically, and when you check the glasses, yeah, I'm being turned way too warm, and the light pollution is getting all over the place. So the sad part about this setup is that it's not worth it to use. It's not worth it to use versus just turning the backlight on the TV up all the way. So, of course, the camera has actually been blued out, has been smurfed by this. So, let me actually now re-enable the camera to force it to reinitialize. So, let's do this. We might have to do that as well. Ah, dropping remotes and everything. Bye. And back on. No, it's still not white balanced correctly. So now we got to go in and just modify a few things. Configure. Camera control. Yeah, it's trying to white balance anyways. Camera control, and let's do this. So there's this. But yeah, I'm not as warm as I otherwise could be. Let me actually look at the white balance on here. Is it adjustable? Let's set it to manual. There we go. So we can manually white balance this. Huh, well, it's too bad we can't keep that bright thing on the screen, because that's exactly what I'm looking for with this. Yeah, so now we have too much light again. Can we take it down a notch? Yep, now we have light pollution. So, lit up, yeah, but... So here we are back on the lowest level, and it's kind of sort of working. But let's turn the... Where's the remote? I'm becoming just like my dad sometimes. Alright, now, if we turn the TV back down... No, not good enough. Not good enough. My choices are either turn orange and send light pollution everywhere, or do this. I think it's because of the diffuse nature of the light. Just turn the TV up all the way and get lit that way. Just... Whether or not I have white elements on the screen should not determine whether or not I can be properly lit. Just... Let's get the zoomy light over here. Okay, once again, I'm the king of silhouettes. We've got the zoomy tower off to the side, as you can see. Now, let's play with this brightness here. Take it up and... ooh, blink, blink, blink. Take it up, take it up. just enough to light me up. And that's as bright as it goes, so it does kind of light me up. But the problem is, it's like I'm taking an eye exam, that thing where they fire a light in the side of your eye to see if you have cataracts. I hate this setup. Just, so awful. Let's actually white balance the webcam then, and let's see if we can turn myself not so purple. I have to counter the, I can counter the zoomy bar with 6500, but I'm purple. The light's too cold. And I just dropped the remote. I'm becoming the king of dropping remotes. I'm becoming just like my dad sometimes, you know? Where's the remote? Oh crap, I dropped the remote. Alright, let's turn it to yellow. Oompa Loompa, baby. So none of these light strips, none of these lights can actually get me the color I'm looking for. Just look at that. I'm purple. Yeah, I don't want to be purple. That's not what I'm going for with this at all. Useless. Even the remote getting it on the first try. Whatever. Okay, last experiment here. Otherwise, we're just going to stick with what we have until we come up with something better. So I took the LED strip that I was trying to do purple with, and now I pulled a Harris Heller. I ran the thing with the adhesive, which is basically double-sided tape, by the way, for those of you wondering how these things work. I ran the adhesive up the side of the torch lamp, like I said I was going to do, so now I have a light off that way, which I can voice control the color and intensity, giving me far more precise control over what I otherwise would have had. Let's see what we can do here. Turn on the purple strip.
Okay, turning purple strip on.
Set purple strip to white.
Alright, changing purple strip to white.
That's not bad. Set purple strip to beige.
Got it. Changing purple strip
yellow.
to beige.
Set purple strip to white.
Got it. Changing purple strip to white.
Set purple strip to 85%.
Got it. Setting purple strip brightness to 85%.
Set purple strip to 50%.
Got it. Setting purple strip brightness to 50%.
Set purple strip to 25%.
Okay, setting purple strip brightness to 25%.
Thank you.
No problem.
So that kind of works. Just double check without the glasses here. Although I am kind of smurfed by it, but I think we can adjust the white balance to fix this. Let's just see here. Configure the video. See, the problem is the window for the video is actually, let's see here. What's it do to me? Set purple strip to 100%.
Sure. Setting purple
It's the wrong color.
to 100%.
White balance. Okay, that gives me color in my cheeks again. Alright, and what's this thing set to? Alright, that gives me color in my cheeks if I set the white balance to 6500K. And that is with a backlight of 0. But the problem is, once again, you can see the big white thing in the side of my eye here. The problem is, it's like, again, the vision exam or something. And of course, I turn that off, I lose that light as well. So yeah, this kind of works, but it's like taking a freaking vision exam. It sucks. You're playing your video games and you're streaming, and there's this glaring light out of the corner of your eye. You know, maybe if you do a lot of stage production and stuff, you get used to it. But quite frankly, you know, I don't want to be spending significant amounts of time playing video games with a light shining in the corner of my eye. Who knows what that does over like 20 years or something? I mean, it's not something that I've been around for most of my life, and it's not something I'm going to start right now. So let's do one more thing, just for the heck of it. Set the purple strip to 100%.
Got it. Setting purple strip brightness to 100%.
Set purple strip to blue.
Sure. Changing purple strip to blue.
Welcome to Tron, baby. Thank you.
Happy to help.
And so now we got even more blue, which is completely... even as a blue light, you still see it in there, and I still see it out of the corner of my eye, and it is annoying as all heck. Not the thing I want with a streaming setup. I'm gonna have to watch some videos of other people's streaming set. Hold on. Turn off the purple strip.
Sure. Turning purple strip off.
Thank you.
You got it.
You can always reattach that with some other double-sided tape. Actually, the double-sided tape that is used for window kits in the winter is exactly the size that LED strip can use. So I definitely have options for getting some more adhesive for that thing. Okay, so before there's too much adhesive on the side of my lamp for the rest of time or whatever, let's just stick with what we have, you know? I mean, essentially, by having this kind of setup, I am watching TV. By having this kind of setup, I am watching TV. So when you're watching TV, the color of your TV is going to change what you look like. I think it's a better idea to try and find some way to move on to a more power-efficient television. Otherwise, just maybe running this max like this will finish running into the ground, so it's not as much of a waste for me to get a TV. So I have no use for a TV anywhere else in the entire house. So, and this thing's run so well for years. So we'll just turn it up when we stream, just like what you're looking at right now. What I've been doing all this time. But at least some of the extra lights have kind of evened things out of it. Could probably try putting the LED strip around here to brighten this area a little. And get some blue going there. But right now, I gotta take it off of that darn light before the adhesive starts to stick and leave a residue. So, this is the finale, ladies and gentlemen, of Geekhouse Dark Mode for now. And this is the finale of this season of the Wacky World of MultimediaJay. For 2021, expect changes. And that's where I'll leave it at for now. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay. Signing off. Thanks for stopping by. The heck's with that Amazon speaker, man?